So we all know that people love the brand new Sonic movie design. I mean, the love has been pretty unanimous for the most part, with some people here and there not as interested in it. However, are people starting to prefer movie Sonic to modern Sonic? Let's discuss right now.
I got hot sauce in my bag, swag.
Oh, I apologize. I'm gonna butcher this name, but shout out to Ahmed Kurishi. This is a fan art of Metal Duckles that they drew, and my gosh, this is just a very solid fan art, you know? This is the classic Metal Duckles pose I had before I had this brand new avatar, and so this makes me feel a little bit nostalgic first of all, but this Metal Duckles looks a little bit younger, a little bit chubbier actually, and I really like that detail. So thank you so much, Ahmed. I really appreciate it, and again, sorry for butchering your name. But anyway, hello there, beautiful human. My name is RidersDX. Welcome to my channel, where today we've got a video on a Sonic movie. So as you all know, the Sonic movie is coming out very soon, you know. February 14th is not that far away. It's less than a month away, and so it's just crazy to think about how far this movie has come and how far we've come in terms of following it and such. And so I'm just really excited to finally get my eyes on it, just kind of see what it's like. It's been quite a journey, especially for my YouTube channel. But one thing I really want to discuss today is whether people generally prefer the movie Sonic design over the modern Sonic design, because there's been a lot of praise for this movie Sonic, obviously. You know, you've seen all the reactions, you've seen all the commentary videos, you've seen all the big critics and publishers talking about their opinions on the Sonic movie. Everyone seems to love this design. I start seeing on Twitter some people actually praising the design and saying that it's better than the video game design, which I thought was very interesting. And so what I decided to do is actually go to my Twitter and my Discord server and ask the people themselves what they thought. Did they prefer modern Sonic? Did they prefer the movie Sonic? Were they not sure? I really want to get a sense of what people thought, and you all gave me really great answers. Like, there were so many things. I wish I could include everyone's comments, but there were so many comments I got back, and so that would be impossible, unfortunately. But you all gave me a very wide range of answers, which I was a little bit surprised by. I thought it would lean one way or the other, but it's been pretty mixed actually, which I guess is not surprising for the Sonic fan base. But you would think that people would probably prefer the modern Sonic design just because we've been around it for so long and movie Sonic just came in. But no, there was a good amount of people that prefer the movie Sonic design, and so we're gonna kind of go into the comments and see what y'all said. Obviously, some people were really excited about the movie design and even seemed to prefer it. He looks cute as heck, and I like how they gave him detailed fur and quills because, well, he's a hedgehog and he has such an expressive personality. Movie Sonic has way more personality that modern Sonic has been unable to show for quite some time. Plus, his design is so satisfying to watch in motion. Movie Sonic seems a lot more expressive than modern Sonic nowadays. His eyes and mouth allow him to emote a lot more. Also, I like his uniquely styled shoes and fur too. I honestly think I prefer movie Sonic's design. I think the movie design mixes the cuteness of classic Sonic and the coolness of modern Sonic into one really well-rounded design. I think it's probably the way this version of Sonic can emote properly. Sonic in recent games has been static and awkward looking, and I think lots of people are happy to see Sonic show some attitude, emotion, and style again. Because the Sonic movie redesign has more expression and personality than modern Sonic in the games, and fur looks so good and also makes the Sonic redesign an actual living creature. I like the fur texture movie Sonic has alongside the more detailed pupils. Modern Sonic looks too simple, like a plastic toy or action figure. There were also people that still heavily support the modern Sonic design and even were a little bit mixed on the movie Sonic design. Modern Sonic because his arms aren't goddamn blue. The game design is better. Movie Sonic's tan skin is made of quills for some reason. I prefer Sonic to have only one eye. Modern for me. Movie Sonic looks more expressive and very cute, and the design is really good, but he looks a bit off in some scenes to be realistic. Other than that, good design, but I'm just so used to modern Sonic's design, and I don't know. It's a design that's always stuck to me. Both designs are great, but I definitely prefer modern, where if they were to merge them together, more realistic fur, darker blue, better facial animation / rig, shading and materials overall, etc., he would look amazing if done right. I prefer a single eyeball though. As much as I like the new movie design, it will never replace the original modern design and all the love I have for it. Design wise, definitely modern. The tan arms look a lot better. Just wish the animation in the games gave the design justice. I prefer the game design. Movie 1 is fine, but I like the gap in the eyes, the more cartoony construction. Yes, I'm biased to it from time spent with it, but I'm also not really impressed with the current movie design. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And some people were very mixed, not really sure which design to prefer. Both designs are very solid in my opinion, but I'm cool with modern Sonic still keeping his design in the games. The only problem is that in the recent 3D games, the animators make modern Sonic very stiff. Hard to say, but this is what movie Sonic has over video game Sonic in my opinion. More facial expressions, fur, lots of body expression and dialogue, shoes. And this is what modern Sonic has over movie Sonic. The eyes being connected, classic Sonic look, classic shoes. I like the film design just because it's like a mix of classic, modern, and boom Sonic, and I like normal Sonic just because that's the look I grew up on as a kid. But really, I prefer both. I think both designs are good in their own ways. Modern Sonic is very iconic, however, in recent games he's pretty static and doesn't emote too much visually. Movie Sonic, on the other hand, is very expressive both personality-wise and design-wise. I like him both the same, honestly. In my opinion, both designs are amazing. The only thing that the movie design lacks for me is not how they change his eyes and arms, which I'm getting used to seeing, but it's the mouth. The mouth isn't to the side, which makes it look like a mascot head or something. It looks like an updated take on Genesis Sonic without going for the slightly more aggressive or even teenage look that they went for with modern Sonic. I think both are very much products of their time. Personally, I don't really prefer either. The movie design has so much more personality in terms of expression and movement, but the modern Sonic design is more fitting to the actual Sonic the Hedgehog universe itself. If they were going to use a new design, they'd likely have to redo everything. So we got a lot of interesting comments from all across the board. You know, a lot of people prefer the movie Sonic design, surprisingly, but there's also some people that still prefer the modern Sonic design. I was about to say classic modern design, but I know that classic is its own term as well, so I'm trying to avoid that. But it's kind of weird because, you know, the modern design is classic in a way now because it's been with us since the late 90s. So modern Sonic has been around for so long, and it feels very integral to the Sonic franchise at this point. So it's kind of hard for me to believe personally that anyone would actually outright say they prefer the movie design, but I can kind of see both sides and see why people prefer one over the other. And so a lot of comments talked about how emotive how emotive movie Sonic looks in the trailers, and I absolutely agree with that. I think one of the best things about the trailers is just seeing the facial expressions of movie Sonic and how like 90s he seems. You know, he really does remind me of how they marketed Sonic back in the 90s as this like rebellious, sassy teenager who had such a big personality and was really goofy. It seems a lot like the 90s portrayal of Sonic in the Americas, and so I'm really happy that they're trying to bring that back because I think that's perfect for this movie, because a lot of people going to this movie are not actually going to be familiar with what Sonic's been doing nowadays, but they may be familiar with the Genesis games and how those games impacted their lives back when they were children. And so it's really good that they're trying to call back on that, because that would give a lot of nostalgia to those people without actually like taking something from the old and putting it into the new movie. You know, it's still fresh, it's still brand new, it's just reminiscent of the old times, of the good old days, you could say. And so I really do enjoy how expressive the movie Sonic is, and I do wish that modern Sonic had that same expression, because thinking back to some of the more recent games, you know, the models look great and the graphics are great. You know, Sonic games are always praised for the graphics, but the cutscenes are not nearly as emotive as the movie is, which makes sense, to be honest, because, you know, this is a movie. This is a Hollywood movie. It's got a big budget behind it. It makes sense that they're going to try to make sure the animation is really good. Although I will say that they did change the movie design, and so it is still shocking that they were able to make the design seem so fluid and so with the movie, you know, even with some choppy scenes here and there, the movie design still looks pretty well integrated into the movie despite, you know, the last minute changes. But the video game cutscenes have not been as emotive and they don't show that same expression. And if I'm being completely honest, it's not really something I noticed for a long time. It's only something I've noticed just recently. In fact, I recall seeing this on Twitter post where they uploaded a Sonic Forces cutscene and talked about how terrible it was. And I was sort of dumbfounded because I looked at the cutscene and I really didn't see anything wrong with it at first. But then I quoted it and asked people why they thought that this cutscene looked terrible. And people let me know that, like, hey, the animation is stiff, the choreography is not that great, and some of the animation is just awkward. And looking at it, I can kind of see where they're coming from. I don't think it's that bad still, but compared to the movie Sonic and what he's doing, I can definitely see it now. It's like, you know, you've had something for so long that you didn't think that it could be better, but then you see something else that does it way better and you're like, oh yeah, it could be like that. Why don't we have that? It's a little bit difficult with video games because animation is not the primary thing. Obviously the primary thing is the gameplay, and so I don't really have as high of expectation with video game cutscenes. You know, I don't have as high of an expectation with the stories and such. It's a video game, and especially with Sonic games in particular, you know, you just never know what you're gonna get with the story and the animation and such. So I lowered my expectations for Sonic games at this point, and it may not necessarily be right. It's just where I am at right now based on my previous experiences with the Sonic franchise. I just don't have high expectations for the story aspect of it anymore based on everything we've gotten for a very long time. But that's besides the point. Now that we're seeing how great Sonic can look from an animation standpoint, I think people's expectations are getting higher now because the movie Sonic is really setting a standard per se of how Sonic should look and how he should act, and I'm really digging it. I'm really loving how Sonic looks, how he acts, how he moves, just his overall like aura, if that's like the right word to use. He just has this thing about him that's just so endearing and so awesome awesome. And I would love to see that in the video games, but I'm a little bit doubtful that we ever will see anything like that. Maybe in the future, in a couple generations or so, when animating cutscenes is that much easier or that much more advanced, then we can see that. But it's never been the main priority for Sonic games, in my opinion. You know, the developers just don't focus on it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten a story that we got in like Lost World and Forces, arguably even Sonic Generations and Sonic Colors. We would not have gotten those stories if they had put more emphasis on the story itself. So while it would be great for modern Sonic to look as emotive as a movie Sonic does, I don't think it's that realistic. You know, just thinking back to like cutscenes from other video games, I don't recall them looking that expressive as well. I mean, looking at some cutscenes from like Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, for example, Crash did look a little bit more expressive than Sonic does, but Crash is a very expressive character overall, so it makes sense. But that doesn't mean Sonic can't be that expressive as well, so I guess that point is no. Thinking back to some maybe cutscenes from Super Mario Odyssey, Mario doesn't speak, so he's forced to use his facial expressions to help show his emotions and what he's thinking, and he does have facial expressions, but not as like strong or as polarizing as Crash's are. And so I think Sonic is a more polarizing character. He has more of an extreme personality, so I think he can actually get away with some more extreme facial expressions, you know, kind of the way that Crash does. Maybe not to that level, but to the level of what movie Sonic is doing, I certainly think can happen. So I don't know, I hope Sega is inspired by the movie Sonic and seeing how many people love it and how it brings so much more like attention to the Sonic franchise. Maybe they'll put a little bit more effort into animating Sonic cutscenes in the future Sonic games. But Sega, I hate to say it, but my expectations are not that high at this point, so I'm not really expecting it. It would be a great surprise to me, but I'm not expecting it. But that's pretty much all my thoughts about this. I don't really have an opinion as to which design is better. You know, I grew up with modern Sonic my whole life, so it's very tough for me to call any design better than that one. But I will say the movie Sonic does give it a run for its money because it looks great. It honestly looks great. I'm really excited to see the movie, you know, just to see Sonic. You know, I have no expectations as to what the script is like. You know, it could be the worst script in the world, but at least Sonic's gonna look good in it. You know, at least we have that for sure. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. What design do you prefer? Do you prefer the new one? Do you prefer the old one? Let me know why or why not in the comment section below. And also let me know what you hope to see from stories and animation from future Sonic games, because it is 2020 and I do recall seeing that Sega is gonna make 2020 an interesting year for Sonic. You know, they're announcing something every 20th, I think, of each month, according to a post I saw from the Sonic Japan Twitter page. So we're definitely gonna get something Sonic related this year. I'm not sure what it is. Hopefully it's an adventure remake, maybe not, who knows. But yeah, let me know what you would like to see from Sonic games in the future in terms of storylines and animations and such. But yeah, thank you so much. Okay, please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these, want to see more in the future, follow me on Twitter or Twitch, and join my Discord server, the Spongy Garden. Special shout out to Reese Gaming, Team Rival Sonic Gamer, Glitched Alfred, and my brand new YouTube member, Desiree Webb. These are my patrons / YouTube members. If you'd like to become a patron or YouTube member, get access to a whole bunch of different perks, then please check out the links in the description box below. But alright, this is Riders, riding out.